Hi. So good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great and keeping yourself healthy and safe during this coronavirus times. The idea for this webinar was actually, to give you some thoughts and some tricks in terms of how to crack an interview and what are the things you should keep in mind. And for those, who don't know me, my name is Pushpesh Singh. I'm currently the Vice President for Sales at Z5. And I've worked with companies like Z, NDTV, LinkedIn, Yahoo, Times of India, and so on in my career. And, what I will be sharing is actually my 15 years of experience, whatever I have experienced in my job search journey, whatever I've learned and whatever mistakes I have made. I thought, why not to share it with everyone and help people, as well as I have launched a course which is much more detailed in nature in terms of how to crack an interview, and I will give a glimpse of that in my course today. So I'm just sharing my screen. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Got it. So, like I mentioned, I have worked in companies like LinkedIn, Z, NDTV, and all, and there are certain things which worked for me. There are certain things because of which I was able to crack interviews of these companies, and there are certain mistakes as well which I have made. Today, I will be sharing some of those thoughts so that you can also make your journey in terms of cracking an interview in a phenomenal manner and without worrying about getting rejected. But before that, I just thought to share my journey, how what all I have done and how I started my journey, so that you get a little more background around what I have done. So my journey started with a fire safety company called as Ceasefire Industries, where I started my career as a field sales executive. Post that, I joined Times of India Group, and there I was a sales executive. After that, I joined Shadi.com as account manager. Post that, I joined Yahoo as a senior account manager in sales. After that, I joined LinkedIn as a senior sales manager. And then I joined NDTV as a regional head for North India. And then I joined Z5 as a regional head for North. And today, currently, I'm the vice president for sales for Z5. So the idea behind why I'm sharing my journey and how I have grown, or what all I have learned during this journey is, I have worked in pretty decent brands, both MNCs as well as India. And there are certain things which these brands look for in an employee. There are certain things which they expect from an employee. And being a people manager myself, to be very honest, I also see certain aspects in the team which I form or the interviews which I take. So this particular webinar is all about that. It's all about very, very small things. I'm not going to share very hi-fi rocket secrets, but these are very small things, but matters a lot in your, interview journey. So I have done a lot of things which are right. I have done certain things which are wrong. But what I would say is, you get it, I have done it the hard way. You get it to cheat and get the easy way, where I'm summarizing my 15 years of knowledge. I'm trying to condense my 15 years of knowledge and sharing with all of you. So today, I'm doing multiple things. As I mentioned, I'm a career and life coach. I run my own courses around art of sales, around getting a dream job. I have started a startup called as India Ethnic Wear. I'm currently also a vice president sales for Z5, and I have around 15 plus years of experience in various media companies like LinkedIn, NDTV, and Times. I'm also a guest lecturer in top universities and a public speaker. So now let's start our journey. So today's webinar will be, focused around these three secrets which I will be sharing. And these three secrets would be, first one is why you get a job. Second is how to interview the interviewer. And the last one is how to leave a long lasting impact. So we'll be discussing these one by one in terms of what are the things which are important. So let's start with the first one, that, what are the things which matters the most, why you get a job. And the most important thing is, if you're invited for an interview, and remember, I'm repeating, if you're invited for an interview, 95% of the times you are qualified on paper. If a recruiter or a business hiring manager has asked you for the interview, that means on paper he's convinced that you can be the right person for the job. So 95% of the times you are already qualified on paper if you have been if you have been invited for the interview. But the most important thing is to understand why you ultimately get a job. You know, a lot many people get invited for the interview who on paper are qualified, but not everyone gets a job. So there are actually three reasons because of which you actually get a job. And the unfortunate part is you can only control one of them. Yes, my friends, you can only control one of the factor out of the three factors because of which you get a job. So let me share with you which are these three factors. The first one is your ability to effectively articulate your fit and value. How capable you are, how good is your communication skills, how good is your storytelling skills in terms of telling the interviewer that you are the best person for the job, telling the interviewer your fit and value for that particular position, which I call it as encoding. So that is totally dependent on you. What is your ability to effectively articulate your fit and value? The next one is the interviewer's ability to actually interpret your qualifications. So lot many times we don't give a focus on this one. You have to understand one thing, that interviewer is somebody who's senior, right? Who's busy into multiple things. He might be someone who has back-to-back meetings. He might be someone who has already taken 4 to 5 interviews and you are the 6th person in a day. So he's a busy man. He's into multiple things. He's checking his emails. He might be having very important meeting just after your interview. So how good is he in terms of actually interpreting that you are the right fit is also dependent, and because of which you get a job. So that is also a very important factor. And the last but not the least is the interviewer's capacity to remember. Remember, guys, one thing I'm telling this from my personal experience. I have been on both the sides of a, in terms of manager as well as in terms of individual contributor. When somebody takes an interview and gives a feedback to higher authorities or to the HR, there's a time lag. So if I take your interview today, I will not be giving the feedback of yours today itself. I might be giving it tomorrow, 24 hours after that, which means I might completely forget what you said in the interview. I might completely forget, what are the key strengths or values you brought on the table. And I might have made some notes, 1 or 2, 3 notes, that's it. But the kind of impact you have created, I might have lost if I was too busy, taking multiple interviews. So if I've taken 6 interviews today and you were the first one, I might completely forget what are the key things you mentioned. So my capacity to remember what you said and how you justified that you are the best person is also one of the factor in you getting a job. The problem is there might be an error at my end, but the person who will suffer is other person who's the interviewee. So, and this problem happens because lot many companies don't train the managers or the leaders how to take an interview. Lot many companies, people become managers, people become leaders, but still they don't know how to judge a person, how to interview a person in the right manner. Just like giving an interview is an art, even taking an interview is also an art. So now what I will try to do is I will try to eliminate the second and third point. What best we can do to eliminate the second and third point, which is the interviewer's ability to actually interpret your qualifications and the interviewer's capacity to remember. So in any job interview, guys, there are only 2 types of questions. Any job interview. One is related to your past and one is related to your future. So interviewer normally asks you questions like sharing your history. What did you do in this XYZ situation? What you do, how you prove that you are a leader, how you prove you are good in project management, and so on. Or interviewer asks the questions about the future, that what would you do if you are given a choice like this? What would you do if you become a manager of this particular project? What would you do if there is a situation like XYZ? So questions are either in the past or in the future. These are the 2 kind of questions mostly interviewers ask in any job interview. And the pro tip is answer both the questions. So that is the main thing, which we sometimes miss out. that we don't answer both the questions. So my suggestion is, regardless of which type of question is asked, whether it is a past related or a future related question, answer both the questions. Just example, if the interviewer has asked, what did you do in a situation in the past? So you mention about it that, for example, if the interviewer asks you how you showed leadership skills in your past. So you give an example that this is how I did it in the past. But if you have a current situation or anticipate one you might have like to address, I will do it little different in your environment. I will address it in future in a little different manner. I will address it in XYZ manner. So you proactively tell that, please give me a situation. If you have any situation in the future, you think I will have to, kind of face similar kind of thing in future, let me know and I will tell you how I will handle it in future. So you have answered both the thing. You have told about the past, that this is how you have done in the past. And you're also telling that in future, you will be handling it in a different environment, in a different manner. Similarly, if somebody asks you, what would you do in your future? Suppose you have been made a project manager for this particular project. What would you do? How you will increase the production capacity, how you increase sales, and so on. So you explain them, this is how I would do it in future. This is how I would increase sales. This is how I would increase project capabilities. But let me share with you a past experience of my past company where I had similar kind of situation or a similar kind of role or a similar kind of project where I have done this in this particular XYZ manner. So even though the question was asked about the future, you go to the past, give an example of the past that I have done similar kind of thing in the past as well. And this is how I will do it in future. So this will eliminate 90% of the communications issues. Because guys, what happens is sometimes interviewers completely assume you have mentioned you are a sales guy, and the interview might be looking somebody who's into alliances, who's into partnerships, who's into and something little similar like alliances or partnership or channel management, for example. But interviewer has assumed that you are a salesperson and you might not have any experience of alliances and partnerships. So if you are somebody who's clarifying the doubts well in advance, you're talking about the past as well as the future in advance without being asked for it, it is always a very good option where you create a better impact, and you will be able to negate this particular obstruction of the interviewer. Now, coming to the second secret in terms of how to interview the interviewer. So the rationale behind this is many times, we get a confusion. What kind of questions I should ask an interviewer? You in any interview, you definitely get a question that, do you have any questions? Now, sometimes we are completely confused what kind of question we should ask to whom. And remember one thing, this question, do you have any questions, is not asked by just one person. It might be asked from HR. It might be asked from your boss. It must be asked from a super boss, from very senior guy. And the answers to these 3 people or 4 people would be very, very different. You don't have to ask the same question to everyone. So let me tell you what kind of questions you should ask to whom. So there are basically 4 categories of questions. The first one is company related questions. So company related questions you should ask from somebody senior, maybe your super boss. If you are giving an interview to your super boss, somebody very senior, you are giving it to CMO, you are giving it to CEO, you are giving it to some very senior guy, ask company related questions. The second category is role related questions, which I would suggest that you should ask mostly from your HR or in some cases with your boss. Questions related to your role, questions related to your job description, questions related to your profile, you must ask from your HR or in some cases with your boss. The third is boss related questions. And as the name suggests, you should ask these questions from your manager, from your boss, related to boss related questions. And the last one is interviewer. Now, what I mean by interviewer is anyone other than your boss, super boss, and HR. Any other person who might be at the same level as you are, who might be from some other department, who might be an external vendor. external partner, who might be somebody who's from a very different vertical altogether in the company. He's taking your interview. Anybody apart from your future boss, super boss, and HR is the interviewer. Now let us, double click on some of the examples of, the kind of questions we ask for different segments. So for example, like I mentioned, company related questions you ask from a very senior guy or a super boss. And what kind of questions are these? I'm just giving you a few of the examples just for your reference. So the questions can be, can you provide insight into the overall company structure? The question can be, how would you describe the company's culture and workplace? Based on the company's position in the market, what do you see ahead for the company in the next few years? Can you provide more detail regarding the company's products and services? Are there plans for any new products or services? Can you describe the company's overall management style? And what are some of the biggest challenges, successes facing the department currently? So these are some of the examples of company related questions. The next one is questions related to your role, which I mentioned you should mostly ask from HR or some cases from your boss. So the questions can be, why is this position open? Whether it's a newly created position or it is a replacement of a vacancy. Why did the previous employee leave? Don't be afraid of asking such questions. You are a future employee. You have the right to ask such questions from the HR. Can you provide more detail on the primary and secondary responsibilities and any other pertinent information you think would be helpful so that I can have accurate view of the job? Questions like, how does upper management view the role and importance of this unit? You must know how important is this unit for the overall company. You must know how important is your business for the CEO. So you can ask those kind of questions. What are the characteristics of the most successful individuals within the company and this particular team? How you define somebody who is successful in this team, in this particular project? What type of skills do you not already have on the team that you would like to fill with the new hire? What are the skills you feel are currently missing in the current team, which you would like to have in the new hire? Can you highlight the possibilities for growth beyond this position? You must know that after this position, what are the possibilities of growth in future? You can be promoted to what all levels and so on. And the next comes are the boss related questions. Boss related questions can be related to your boss. You can ask directly, what is your management style? You can ask, can you describe the characteristics and qualities of your most successful performer? You can ask your boss that, whomsoever is your most successful performer, what are the qualities of that particular person? Also, if there is a boss who has been in this organization for quite some time, you can ask what drew you to this organization, and you can ask what has kept you here. So these kind of questions you can ask your manager. What is your vision of your department over the next 2 to 3 years? That can be another form of question. And then there can be a question like, what would you consider to be exceptional performance from someone performing this position in the first 90 days? So you are actually getting a hint from your manager what to expect in initial 3 months time. You are asking the same question from the boss itself, that what are the expectations in terms of exceptional performance for the starting 90 days for this position, and what major challenges are you currently facing as a manager? That can be another good question to be asked from a boss. Next comes the interviewer. Now, interviewer is somebody who's neither your boss, who's neither HR nor your super boss. He might be somebody who's from a very different department, might be parallel to you, might be from a different vertical, or might be somebody who's external. So Pranav, I will take questions at the end of the presentation. Hold on for this one. I will answer your questions. All the questions I will be taking at the end of the presentation. So there will be a Q&A round, and I will answer any question which is related to job search, related to job hunting, related to interview, and so on. So the interviewer related questions can be, if you were to offer me a job and I was to accept, what would be the first act I can do to make your life easier? So you are trying to say that if you hire me, I will help you make your life easier. And you are asking the same person what I can do to make your life easier, how I can take your burden, how you can delegate your responsibilities to me. The second question can be, what do you love most about working here? What are the things which are excited for you while you're working in this particular company? What excites you to work in this particular company? And what do you love least about working here? You can ask that question as well. And you can ask, what did you choose? Why did you choose this company? What was the reason behind selecting this company for your professional journey? And what are the top 5 things you would improve about the organization? You can ask that as well from the interviewer. So these are the kind of questions which we can ask from somebody who is taking your interview. Now, I have also tried to give it a structure before we move to the secret 3. I also wanted to share with you that these questions should be designed basis what you want from an organization. So there you need to give that structure. You are not asking questions in a haphazard manner. You need to design these questions basis what you want from a job. So I'll give you one example. Let me just stop sharing my presentation and share an Excel with you. Now, this is an Excel which I call it as criteria questions Excel. Basically, criteria questions matrix. So what I have done, and it looks a little complex, but I will explain you in a nutshell manner. If you see here, I have mentioned the kind of criteria which I have basis which I will join a company. I have mentioned all those criteria basis which I will join a company. So these criteria can be different for different people. Criteria like appreciation, atmosphere, autonomy, boss, challenges, what kind of challenges I get in the company, collaborative culture, commute, compensation, benefits.
Hello, sir, you are showing something?
Yeah, so Excel is not visible to you?
No, sir.
Okay, just 1 second, guys. Now, can you see my Excel, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Got it. So again, I'm just repeating. So in the column A, which is primary criteria, what I have done is you need to find out what you are looking from a job. At different career stage, different people might look different things. So for me, it might be a culture which matters the most. It might be atmosphere which matters the most. Maybe I'm staying at Gurgaon. I want a job which is in Gurgaon. So the travel matters the most for me. For somebody else, it can be compensation which matters the most. It might be the kind of challenges he gets matters the most. So what I have done is made a list of all these criterias, appreciation, atmosphere, autonomy, boss, challenges, compensation and benefits, contribution, culture, flexibility, growth, people, role, travel. So these are some of the big level things which we love, which we want from a job. And what I have done in secondary criteria is how that organization or most of the organization fulfill that criteria. So if you want appreciation in the company, you need to find out how appreciation are given in the organization. Like it is by salary increase, it is by promotion, it is by commendation, and so on. If there is something which is external compensation, for example, how you are compensated in the company, it's a salary, is it a sign-in bonus, it's a vacation, it's a stock option, reimbursements, car allowance, and so on. Similarly, if you are talking about culture, you need to find out how culture is, how they collaborate with each other, and so on. And then you have to ask questions accordingly so that you get answer related to your key things. So suppose appreciation matters for me a lot. So then I can ask questions like, does the company recognize and appreciate the employees' efforts? Do my customers' employees are appreciated in what I'm doing? And if yes, then how they are appreciated? Does the employer acknowledge its employees' efforts? Does the employee show appreciation by increasing compensation for great performance? And things like that. So there are certain questions which you can ask the employer. And then there are certain questions which you need to find out yourself by doing the background check of the company and so on. So your questions should be designed basis that. So if you see here in column F, what I have done is I have put the categorization of these questions like appreciation, atmosphere. These are company related questions. You need to ask somebody senior. Then autonomy, boss, challenges. These are boss and role related questions. Similarly, collaborative and commute are company related questions. Compensation is a role related question. So I have mapped all these. And after doing this, in terms of kind of questions and all, basis the kind of answers you get, uh, what you can do is you give ranking to each value proposition which you get. So for example, appreciation matters a lot for you. So maybe rather than 6, I give 9 to this, right? And atmosphere matters to me, but not very much. So I give 3 points to it. Just giving you an example. And then if you have applied for any company, or you have got multiple job offers, you give ranks, you give numbers to that, each and every component of that company. So if things which, suppose boss matters a lot for you, you give 8 points to the boss, means that matters a lot for you. Now after that, what you do is, for any particular company, you see how you will rate that company in respect to the criteria which you have chosen. And then after doing everything, you will get a weighted score, and you can compare that with other companies as well. So you make categories: company A, company B, company C. Company A fulfills my appreciation thing in the maximum possible manner. Company B fulfills my compensation thing. Company C fulfills my in culture part. And then once you give the rating to everything which matters the most to you, and the least as well, you get a weighted average score for everything, and then you get a sum total of the scores. So there are 4 companies. I've got 105, 60, 30 and 20. So this will help you make sure that which company you should opt for. Whenever you have multiple job options, this particular exercise will actually help you to figure out which option you should go for, where you are getting the maximum score. So this is a kind of a method to the madness in terms of figuring out which is the best company you should go for, basis what matters to you. So I'm just repeating on one thing on this one. Suppose appreciation doesn't matter for somebody. For somebody, compensation matters a lot. So then he will give 9 to compensation and just 8 or maybe just 4 to appreciation. So now if he goes to one company where appreciation is high, then also his weighted average will be low, because he has not given too much importance to that. But if the compensation is high, his weighted average score would be high, because that matters for that particular employee. So basis whatever is important for you, you rank it and then frame questions accordingly. These questions are actually so that you get to know what kind of value this particular company provides me in that specific field, whether it is compensation or culture or challenges or so on and so on. Now coming back to the presentation. Now we talk about the third secret, how to leave a long lasting impact. That is really, really important. I'm just repeating few things. Remember guys, if I take an interview today, I will not be giving the feedback today itself. I will be giving the feedback the next day. So what are the things which you can do to create a long lasting impact, even after a day's time? What you can do? Many people guys don't do this in India. If you go abroad, you go to US, you go to evolved markets, and there you will find people doing this. But in India, I have rarely seen people doing this. And what exactly it is actually a very simple basic thing of thanking them. You need to thank the employer whosoever has taken an interview of yours. Thanking the employer separates candidates when it's closed. If there are 2 extremely important components to thanking. First is be speedy. Do it within 24 hours. You need to thank the employer within 24 hours time, and be thoughtful. Effort shows you care and don't consider this as a formality. And when you thank, you get to realize 3 benefits when thanking an employer. And you need to include all these 3 components. The first component is simple thanking them, open with a thank you note. Second component, don't forget to sell yourself even while thanking them. Tell your unique identifier. And the last one is show interest, show enthusiasm for the position. Now what it does is, suppose, just imagine I have taken your interview today, and tomorrow I have to give feedback to the HR or to the senior person. and I get a thank you note just the next day morning from you, either on mail or on LinkedIn, I get a recall of yours. You have built your reputation one more time in a very polite manner, in a very sophisticated manner, and you have kind of resold yourself once again. So thank you is very, very important, but we just need to be careful. Don't do this that, you have given the interview, came out of the room and just WhatsApp, thank you, sir, and so on. No, that is a wrong practice to do. Don't do this ever. You don't have to do it immediately. You can do it after 1 or 2 hours at least, but within 24 hours. Second thing is avoid doing on messages and WhatsApp. This thank you note should either be on the email or on LinkedIn. Just two places, either on mail or on LinkedIn. And mail is something, if you don't have, you can definitely ask from the HR as well. He will give you. In case you are not able to get mail, do it on LinkedIn. I would suggest not to do it on message or WhatsApp. Now I tell you, one sample as well. It is easier to say than to do. What kind of thank you note I use? So I will just share that with you guys. So this is my sample thank you note. I will read it out for you. Hi Samir, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. I appreciated the chance to learn more about you and the company. Based on the key points we discussed today, I feel I would be the fantastic match for the job because tell your reasons why you will be the best fit. Details about your key strengths. Lastly, I want to reconfirm my interest in this position. After speaking with you, I was more excited about the opportunity because you verified the company supports my interest related to XYZ. Whatever interest level you feel there's a match between you and the company. Thanks again. So here you have done all the three things. You have thanked them, you have sold yourself once again, and you have shown your enthusiasm once again that you are really, really excited to work with this particular company. So what these were the three secrets, guys, which I thought to share with you on a very high level today. And what I have also done is, and I'm just sharing it with you, this is one quote which I remembered, that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So this idea is to do things differently. If you're doing the same thing and expecting a different result, it will not happen. So my approach, what I'm trying to say, is a little different from a generic approach which normally people follow. And what I have done is to make it much more comprehensive. I have created a small course called as Art of Cracking an Interview. That's a course which I have designed in a manner that where I can take you step by step in terms of everything about interview. So in this course, what will happen is I will be sharing everything about giving an interview, how to start the interview, how to structure the interview, what are the things we should avoid in the interview. What are the myths we should break about the interview, how you can leave a lasting impression on the interview, how you prove that you are an asset for the company, asking the right questions. And then you get a complete support from my side in terms of your own individual problems which you are facing giving interviews. You can ask me any questions. You will be a part of the group as well. I will give you all the templates and samples as well. Just like I gave you for the thank you note, I will be giving you the samples and templates. And I will be giving a list of 75 questions to be asked from the employer in different scenarios. The Excel sheet which I shared with you in terms of criteria, questions, matrix, I will be sharing that as well with you as a part of this particular course. Now, this course in terms of value is of 10,000 rupees. So in terms of the kind of value you get from this particular course and the online support where you can ask me any questions any number of times is around 10,000 rupees. But I will also do one more thing to add to it, which is I will be taking a mock one-on-one interview of yours where I will give individual feedbacks to you guys. What is missing in you? What are the things which you should do it differently? What are the things which you should hone, you should work on? And I will also tell how you can do that. So that is an additional mock interview which has a value of around 5,000 rupees. And then this course will have a lifetime access to the to the particular course. So there will be no expiry of this course. You can get access to this course lifetime. You can access it at any number of time. And this lifetime access has an additional value of around 5,000 rupees. You also get a chance to become basically you become a member of the private LinkedIn group. So I have a private LinkedIn group where there are a community of people where you can post any number of questions related to job, related to interview, related to anything, whenever in life you face any challenges anywhere. So that's another thing which is part of this particular course. and that has an additional value, obviously, of another 5,000 rupees. And then there is a bonus which I'm giving to only people who have attended my webinar, which is a special webinar bonus, where I will be doing a workshop on Rock Your LinkedIn Profile, how you can leverage LinkedIn to get your job, how you build a professional brand on your LinkedIn. I have myself worked with LinkedIn for 3.5 years, and I have learned while I was working in LinkedIn how we can create a brand at LinkedIn, how you can do a head hunting in terms of your boss. We call it as boss hunting, where I will share with you the templates how to reach out to people with whom you want to work with in your future company, in your dream companies, and what are those templates, what you should write if there is a job opening, what you should write if there is no job opening. So those kind of things I will be doing in the Rock Your LinkedIn Profile section, which is a additional thing which I will be giving, which is just a webinar bonus, you can say, of 10,000 rupees. Now, what I'm charging for this particular course is approximately 3,500 rupees. That's it. So you get everything in this one, where I share about everything about interview, about mock one-on-one interview with you guys, lifetime access to the course, private LinkedIn group memberships, as well as Rock Your LinkedIn Profile, webinar bonus. Now, so you have two options: either you go with the way you are doing things, or else you trust me and invest in yourself and join this course. And I'm very sure that the way you are doing job search will be completely changed. And in case you feel that you are not seeing that kind of value in the course, there's 100% money back from my side. So this particular value, this particular offer of just 3,500 rupees is for 2 days time. Do reach out to me at coach@pushpacesingh.com in case you are interested to join this course. So now I will open it for question and answer. You can ask me any question related to job, related to career, related to my today's presentation. Guys, if you have any question related to anything related to career, interview, job, you can ask me right now. Pranav, you mentioned you'd had some question, right? So Pranav has asked me, are interviewers ready for such questions? Pranav, you are referring for exactly which part? There are 4 parts I shared: company related questions, role related questions, interview related questions, and boss related question. Exactly which one you are saying, so that I can answer it in a better manner? Pranav, can you clarify me which section you are saying, whether it is for company, job, role related?
Hi, Pushpesh.
Yeah, Pranav.
Yeah. So actually, I face this situation in one of the interview, like where I asked about like in next 30 days, suppose I get selected, then what is your plan for me? I mean, interviewer's plan for me.
Yeah.
And I asked one more question. I asked 3 questions.
Right.
But and questions were very clear and concise, but
right.
Interviewer didn't understand the question, and he thought that all the questions are of same type. So every time he was saying this is the repetition, or another question is question which should be asked to interviewer, does it depend on size of company as well? Because in different companies I face different kind of situation. It is for middle level company, uh, they have different kind of mindset. Maybe I would say maybe interviewers are not prepared for that thing. Sometimes they don't know what kind of candidate they are looking for, because job description says something else, and when they tell JD in interview, then it is totally different. So how to handle that kind of situation?
So yeah, got it. So you have asked 2 questions. One is, are interviews ready for such questions like you mentioned? you are asked, expectations from your side. So two things. One is, any good sophisticated company you go to, yes, the interviews are ready for such questions. These are genuine questions to be asked. These are your right to ask, because you are going to become a part of the company. You are going to become a part of them. So you must know what are the things. But maybe what you can do is, if somebody is not very open. So for example, you have asked that, what are the plans for me for next 30 days, right? So that puts
Right.
the ball in their court. So rather than that, rephrase the question saying that, what are the expectations from me in the initial 30 days? So maybe if you keep the ball at yourself, where you are the key person, you say that, what are the expectations from me from last 30 days? I'm sure for that particular thing, they will definitely give an answer, because they might not be very comfortable telling you what are their plans for you, but they will be very much open to tell what are their expectations from you, because until unless they tell you what are the expectations, you will never get to understand. So in any good company, this kind of questions are absolutely fine. I would say it was it was unlucky for you if you face someone who was not able to get your questions. Stick to that. These questions are good, but yes, the way you rephrase them can change. Now the second question you ask is, are these questions change as per the company? To be honest, yes. What happens is, for example, a company, that's why I've also made it very sure that these questions asked from the respective person. Just imagine if somebody asks a company related question to your immediate boss. What are the company's plan for next 5 years in terms of expansion? Just give you an example. Now maybe even your manager might not have answer to that particular question, and he will be on the back foot. So in a mid-sized company, especially, or in a SME company, you should avoid asking very high-level company-related questions until unless you are talking to the founder. So the art is to bucket down your question in the proper manner. So if you are giving an interview to your boss or to the HR, avoid asking company-related questions until unless you are talking to the founder or a co-founder in any mid-sized company. But yes, I would suggest any questions, whether if you are not very sure you should ask or not, you can definitely ask those kind of questions from the HR. So you can be as blunt, as brash as possible with HR, and you cannot be that much with your boss. So if you are in two minds, I want to know this thing, but you're not sure whether I should ask the boss, then ask the HR. Even if there's a wrong impression on the HR, doesn't matter. Ultimately, HR's role is simply while you join a company and when you exit the company. In between is just things which matters is your boss. Am I clear on this one, Pranav?
Yes, Pushpesh. Thanks.
Guys, any other questions on anything related to job, career, interview? Or related to what I have shared with you guys?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. Sir,
Morning.
I have a question. Actually,
Tell me.
this is very general question.
It's okay.
Which is asked by interviewer all time. That why do you want to change your company?
Right.
So actually, sir, I give the answer that for better opportunity and changes are necessary for everyone for improve the skills. So, sir, I want a proper answer how we can give from you.
So I tell you, firstly, very honestly, there's no proper answer for everyone, because the answers change person to person. For me, the answer might be very different. For you, the answer might be very different. What I can definitely share with you, what a lot many people give an answer to me. So there are answers like, I am changing for growth opportunities. So that is one thing. There are answers which I have seen in people giving is, my growth has been restricted now. Like, I'm finding my growth as monotonous. I'm not learning anything more, or I am not getting challenging opportunities in my current job. So I would suggest not to criticize the company in terms of culture or anything. It's always better you tell that, you know, my learning has been saturated now, or it has become you know, the growth has become stagnated, or I'm not learning new things. I'm doing the same thing again and again. I want to do something different, something new. I want to add more learnings in my bouquet. So that those are more better answers. But having said that, it also depends upon you genuinely what you are looking for, why you are looking for change. That also matters person to person. But yes, again, I'm repeating, it is better if you say that, you know, I am changing because you know, I don't think I'm growing anymore. My learning curve has been saturated, and I want to learn newer things in newer opportunities. These are the most commonly you know, known answers. But you know, you have to bring your own personal thing as well. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Anything else, guys?
Pushpish, I have one more question.
Yeah, Pranav.
So like uh, since last few months or years, we are hearing about this thing, storytelling in interviews.
Right.
So like, are interviewers ready for this? Because I have mixed kind of experiences with this. So as an interviewer, like I like this, like when like a candidate tells me about their experience, but as interviewee, I have mixed kind of experience. So like sometimes what I understand is maybe sometimes the interviewer is looking for a straightforward bookish answer,
So that
while
is,
we are telling
yeah.
while we are telling him or her the situation where I face similar kind of situation and how I dealt with it. But again, like question is
Yeah.
like whether they are ready for this storytelling thing or not.
So you have, you know, hit the right chord, Pranav, very honestly. Like I mentioned in my presentation as well, if you remember, lot many times managers are not trained how to take an interview. Lot many times people simply become managers, but they don't deserve to be a manager, or they deserve to be manager from their role perspective, but not from people perspective. Guys, can you hear me? Guys, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
I
sir.
think
I'm really sorry.
uh,
There was a, you know, fluctuation in my electricity. Guys, you can hear me, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yes,
Please continue.
Pushpish.
Yeah, Pranav. So I was telling you that lot many times managers are not equipped to, you know, take interviews very honestly. And the unfortunate part is, I'm sorry to say that, but most of the Indian companies and most of the Indian SMEs companies, they are not training is not very much focused on in these companies. And if you give interviews in SMEs or Indian companies, you might not, you know, find that kind of sophistication that you will they will understand the art of storytelling, or they will understand, you know, how sophisticated that is. And sometimes you might even not get a job because you were perceived in managers' eyes as overqualified when you are giving it in a very amazing manner, and you still don't make it to the interview, and you get surprised, why I'm not selected, man, I think I've given all the right answers. Maybe because you are overqualified. So the answer to your question is, if you are going in an MNC company, most of the time, I'm not generalizing, but most of the times, the managers, the people, the leaders will be equipped for such kind of questions. If you are going in an SME or not great Indian, not a very big brand in Indian company, then you have to keep it little simplified. Yeah, to be very honest, until unless you are talking to somebody senior in the company.
Okay, Pushpish, got your point.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Guys, anyone else? Any questions? Okay, so I guess there are no more questions. So what I suggest, guys, I will be sharing the recording of this particular session today. In case you really want to go for the course which I am, starting soon, do let me know. And register for that course. You can mail me at coach@pushpacing.com, and we can do a very deep dive thing in terms of taking your mock interviews and helping you get a job of your choice, and kind of making sure what are the mistakes which we do, we avoid those mistakes, and a lot many more, in terms of a journey of cracking a job interview. So do let me know, and thank you for your time today. I wish you luck in your future endeavors.
Sir, if you don't mind, I have one last question.
Yeah, sure.
Which platform is better for job search, like LinkedIn or Naukri.com?
What is the position you're looking?
So sales engineer.
Sales engineer, right? So LinkedIn, I think, is always, it's a always on thing. So it doesn't matter whether you are, currently looking for a job or not. You will get a better opportunity even if you're not looking a job, if you are active on LinkedIn. But if you are looking for immediate job, in a much more urgent manner, I would suggest, Naukri might turn better for you. But I would say, utilize both the platforms. Both are very amazing platforms. But in LinkedIn, you have to do multiple things. You have to make your brand. You have to, build your LinkedIn profile in a better manner. You have to reach out people. LinkedIn will not work if you're just sitting and applying for jobs. Remember, guys, I'm just clarifying one doubt here. Utilizing LinkedIn doesn't mean you go to the job section of LinkedIn and you apply on jobs. Alone, it will not happen, because in LinkedIn, the jobs are filtered through applicant tracking system. I don't know if you've heard ATS. And in ATS, 93% of the resumes are discarded. So if you find a job on LinkedIn, it's better you find a person who will be a future boss, connect with him and ask him to refer you rather than directly applying for that particular job. That is a better way to utilize LinkedIn. Otherwise, your resume will be lost in the applicant tracking system. You will never get a reward. And I'm very sure whenever you guys must have applied on LinkedIn or on any company's website, it's a very rare chance. It's a 5 to 6% chance that your resume will be seen by a human. Otherwise, it will be truncated by ATS. Although, in my course, I'm also talking about what all you should do in your resume to avoid applicant tracking system, negating that. But long story short is, in LinkedIn, reach out to the person who might be your manager, or anybody. If you're not able to reach out to your manager, reach out to HR or any other employee and ask them to refer you rather than apply directly. Naukri, for you, the kind of role you mentioned, I would say for immediate job search, Naukri might be a little more productive for you as compared to LinkedIn. But be on both of the platforms. I've told you how to utilize LinkedIn.
And sir, in this course, you have also taken the premium for LinkedIn. Like there is a premium option on LinkedIn for better job search and for better company. So it will be included in your course.
No. There is no subscription is not included in my course. I will just be talking about what you should do on LinkedIn to get a better job. What all you should do, how to share your content, how to make your LinkedIn profile, what all you need to do. I will share that in my course.
So, sir, could you just suggest the premium on the LinkedIn will help us to find a better job?
I would not suggest as of now at this level for you to be going on premium, because it will not help you that much. It will not.
Okay, sir.
Even if you go premium.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Do reach out to me in case you want to onboard this journey of cracking the job interview, and I will share with you in detail what all the course includes. See you guys.
Okay, sir.
Thank you
Bye.
so much, Pushpesh.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I will share the recording for this session to all of you. Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
sir.
Sure.
Bye bye.
Okay. Sure. Bye.
Bye, sir.